Cowboys Nation, welcome back to Dallas Game Day. And today we're diving into a story that might just have huge implications for our Dallas Cowboys. The Pittsburgh Steelers, of all teams, may be sitting on a hidden gem that they don't seem to know how to use, or maybe they simply don't have room for him. I'm talking about wide receiver Roman Wilson, a 2024 third-round pick who shined in the preseason but has been left almost completely out of the Steelers' offensive plans. And when a young, promising wideout isn't being used, that's when smart teams like the Cowboys need to take notice. Let's break this down. Roman Wilson was drafted with upside in mind. He's got speed, body control, and showed during camp and preseason that he can separate, run crisp routes, and make contested catches. In fact, in limited preseason action, Wilson put up 96 yards and a touchdown on just 4 catches. That's efficiency. That's explosiveness. That's the kind of player you want developing in your system. But here's the issue. Pittsburgh just isn't making him part of their plans. According to Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Steelers are sticking with their main guys, DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin III on the outside, plus tight ends Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth. Add in Aaron Rodgers leaning heavily on running back Jalen Warren in the passing game, and Wilson is getting lost in the shuffle. Through 3 weeks, he's played just 41 offensive snaps. That's barely more than role players like Scotty Miller and Ben Skowronek. And in that limited time, just 1 catch for 7 yards on 2 targets. Now, Cowboys Nation, why does this matter for us? Simple. Opportunity. The Dallas Cowboys are in a moment of need. With CeeDee Lamb sidelined for several weeks with that high ankle sprain, Dak Prescott's arsenal just got a lot thinner. George Pickens is being asked to step up as WR1. Jalen Tolbert is sliding into a bigger role. Kevontae Turpin and other depth guys are being forced into action. But we all know the reality. Outside of Pickens, this receiving core doesn't scare defenses right now. And that makes life harder on Dak, on Brian Schottenheimer's play calling, and on the run game. This is where Roman Wilson could be the perfect low-cost, high-upside move. He's young, under contract on a rookie deal through 2027, and he hasn't even had the chance to show what he can do in a real offense that trusts him. The Steelers clearly don't see him as a priority, but in Dallas, he could step in immediately as a depth option with room to grow into a bigger role. Think about it. Wilson learning alongside CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, catching passes from Dak Prescott, and being coached up in Schottenheimer's system. That's a recipe for unlocking potential. And let's not pretend Jerry Jones doesn't love moves like this. He thrives on finding undervalued assets, players with pedigree and talent who just need the right environment to shine. Wilson has already shown flashes in preseason that he can get separation, track the ball, and make plays in the red zone. At just 24 years old, he's not even close to his ceiling. And here's the kicker. He wouldn't cost much in a trade. The Steelers clearly don't have him in their top rotation, so a mid to late round pick could be enough to bring him in. That's the kind of gamble that can pay off big. Now, let's zoom out. Dallas isn't just trying to survive the next few weeks without Lamb. This team is trying to build an offense that can compete with the Eagles, the 49ers, and whoever else stands in their way in the NFC. Depth at wide receiver has been an issue for years. Remember losing Amari Cooper in 2022 and how long it took to rebuild that unit? The Cowboys can't afford to repeat that mistake. Adding Wilson now not only helps fill the gap with Lamb out, but it also gives you insurance and development for the future. And here's one more thing, Cowboys Nation. Dak Prescott thrives when he has multiple reliable weapons. We've seen it year after year. When defenses can't just double one guy, Dak is at his best. Adding Roman Wilson, even as a wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, gives Dak another option to spread the ball around, especially in those quick timing throws that Schottenheimer's been dialing up. He doesn't need to be a superstar right away. He just needs to be trusted to make the plays he's already proven he can make. So here's the bottom line. The Steelers may not think Roman Wilson is part of their future, but that's exactly why the Cowboys should step in. He's young, talented, and stuck behind a depth chart that doesn't fit him. Dallas, meanwhile, needs fresh legs and fresh talent at receiver, especially with Lamb out. This could be one of those quiet mid-season moves that pays off in a big way come December and January. Now, I want to hear from you, Cowboys fans. Do you think Jerry Jones should make a call and try to bring Roman Wilson to Dallas? Would you take a chance on a young receiver with upside, or would you prefer to stick with the current group until Lamb returns? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to Dallas Game Day, because this is the place where we ride with the star through every rumor, every trade, and every game of this roller coaster season.